I'm a DI consultant, but I'll take this liberty. I have two boys, 11 and a 13, and I say this every time. If I need a mic with my two boys, I really need to do a better job. Yeah, so not many people here since morning, is it? Quite a few? Okay. How many of you have been hearing about leadership since morning? Everybody? So by now, I don't think I need to say anything. I think we can just open it up and everyone can tell me. So folks, what is leadership? What is leadership? I'm opening it up. What is leadership? Not management. Okay, what else? Service. What else? Purposeful. What else? EQ, mission, values. Sorry? Bring out the best in self and others. Okay, what else? Okay, the backbenchers are being actual backbenchers from school. They're not contributing. Sorry, courage. Okay. Yeah, especially the last 2 years, more than ever. The best part about being a speaker who comes in at 5 in the evening is that you can rethink and rethink and rethink what you have to say. The worst part is almost everybody has said everything you had thought about saying. So, what you come with and what you eventually end up saying may not speak to each other. They're very different. When I was thinking what to say, and given the topic we have of new world, and I said, okay, let's talk about leadership in the new world. And incidentally, yesterday I was in this coaching session, a senior lady, business head, and just when we were winding up, she said, Shruti, I have something to ask. And we've been through many rounds of coaching. I've known her now for a year, a lot of conversations that we've had. And she says, tell me something, do I really need to be coached? So I looked at her, I said, okay, there's something more that will come, like most of us coaches do, right? Silence and all the good things. So then she says, there are people who get promotions, there are people who get recognition, there are people who get everything without being coached. What is missing in me that I need to be coached? Great question. Anybody here who's had this question, who's been asked this question before? Quite a few. What have you answered?
Did not have an issue for them to be coached, right? Coaching only makes them become much better individuals.
Yeah, but if you say, yes.
You are privileged.
You're privileged, thank you. It's interesting, right? Yes, sir, you have something to say.
I asked a question, so what makes you to put this to me?
Fantastic. I just kept asking, so I waited for her to say something else, and then she said, I know my boss had said I'm good, I need to be great, I know you've said that, it's about being, moving from good to great, so on and so forth. She said, yeah, but there's so many other people who are good, who are great, who are possibly not even good, who are not even great, but they get promoted. Why am I doing this? So that is just one. I'll not go into what happened thereafter. In the conversation. The second thing is another of my coaches, again, he was asked to be coached on leadership. One of the first questions he asked me is, Shruti, what is leadership? Everybody keeps talking leadership, leadership, leadership. I said, what is leadership? Why is there so much noise about leadership? And then he's like, okay, should I Google? Can you send me some articles? Can you send me some visuals? Can you send me some graphics? So on and so forth. How many of you will agree leadership, that word, is overrated? Quite a few. This is the most hands I've seen up. Can we make a little bit of noise for people who agree that that word is overrated? Thank you. Ultimately, it's just people, right? We've all started our careers. Many of us here have possibly started our careers some 20, 25 years back or 18 years onwards back. And none of us had any idea where we are going. We've just got opportunities, another opportunity, another opportunity. Suddenly you find yourself as a manager. Then you find yourself in a position where you're quote unquote a leader. And you're supposed to be, say all the right things and behave in the right way and be all the words we were talking about, right? High on EQ, value, vision, purpose, blah, blah, blah. So when I was preparing for this and I was hearing everybody else, and I was like, you have to talk about leadership and the new skills and the new world and all of that. And I really don't know how much time we have, so by all means, I know we are running 45 minutes late, and but honestly, isn't it just about being yourself? Just about realizing that someday, 22 years back, I was a bacha who had absolutely no idea, and for people who are not, who don't understand Hindi, bacha means child. So I was a kid who had no idea what I want to do in my life, who just happened to get moved from one role to another. And as a leader, if we can just understand that, as a manager, as a leader, as a person in that position of power, where you can, you're supposed to have vision and strategy and so on and so forth. We have two roles, right? One is for the business, and the other is for the people we represent. And if for the business, if we are just able to understand where the business wants to go, where and what do they want to do in 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, the numbers, the revenues, the top lines and bottom lines, which is all that happens behind those closed doors once a quarter. And those investors for startups like mine, no, we are bootstrapped, who insist on knowing, okay, how does your P&L look like, and so on and so forth. And besides that, there is this other side, which is the people side. And I think it's just about knowing a few things. They are, at the end of the day, people who report into you, at the end of the day, are people who absolutely have no idea, just as possibly we don't have any idea. I walked into a very senior coach's room last week, 6th or 7th of Feb. And we were having some other discussion, and he was like, Shruti, do you realize most people are lost? I said, I am. And I can, thank you. No, and let me be honest, I am. The number of times I need to do self-coaching is not funny. And if we can just agree to that fact that if I am lost, there's so many people who are within the team, my peers, subordinates, supervisors, people who could be as lost. And I think the leadership skill we are talking about is just acknowledging that. We were talking about brand the other day, and someone said, oh, I need to build my brand. And I was like, your brand is just what you are. You cannot build a brand. You are a brand. You can't write your lessons. You be your lessons. And so in the same way, so I think we have to be change ready. The last 3 years have taught us to be agile. It has taught us to be change ready. It has taught us to be keep evolving, thinking, adapting, because the world has been changing. Till, I think August last year, 22, a lot of my clients were like, Shruti, we need to do hybrid sessions. We need to understand how people have to be leaders in a hybrid world, blah, blah, blah. Come December, all the layoffs happen. Most of my clients are like, wait for 2 months. We won't need the hybrid sessions. Everyone's going to be back. Now the employer has a, handle. The employees don't have leverage anymore. We will not need hybrid sessions. So you have those conversations as well. So what do we do as leaders? You keep evolving. What do we do as managers, as people who are handling teams? We keep evolving. We keep thinking what we need to do differently. We keep understanding that the market is changing. And then we keep understanding that there are people who will have different needs at any point in time. And sir before me, I don't know if he's still in the room, he was talking about respect. And I was talking to somebody about respect, and the person was like, I have never screamed at you. So how can you say that I don't respect? This is a conversation happening between two people, and I happen to be there. I've never screamed at you, so I obviously respect you. I don't say ugly things to you, so I respect you. And so this person says, you don't take my calls, you don't answer my messages, you don't respond to my emails, you don't guide me, you don't show me the way, so I feel I'm being disrespected. And this person is like, that's not respect. Respect is that I don't scream at you, so I'm respecting you. So I think it's time as people we understand what respect is, we understand what emotional intelligence is. We keep talking about emotional intelligence, we keep talking about these 4 parameters and self-awareness and orientation and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's just about understanding that there's a human on the other side who has emotions, who cries, who stresses, who has bills to pay. And while I know we have a business and the P&L and the revenues to take care of, we also have real humans who are impacted. So I think that is all, if we can just be human as people, I think that will make such a huge difference. And I am very happy right now to open it up and ask the audience here if any one of you disagrees with the fact that leadership is just about being human. Being in positions of power is just about ensuring that you're being human. I'm just opening it out here. Anybody who thinks differently on this one? Oh my God. Yes, sir, you have something to say.
I have a different perspective here.
Yeah, sure.
In line to what you just said. So, we talk about leadership, we talk about respect, ownership, engagement. So, but then the reality is, right from Mahabharata to today, we still don't witness that leadership that we look at. Of course, you're right, and I really admired when you said, I don't know. I am lost. I really admire you for that.
Thank
Like,
you.
I'm a fan of yours on that. But at the same time, leadership, practically when we go in the corporates and we see people, at the end of the day, it's numbers, isn't it? That's my
Yes.
question.
Yes. And that's what I said, and I completely hear you, because as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's running a company, I know, as I said, there's a P&L, there's a top line, and there's a bottom line. But at the end of the day, it's how you tell the other person you're not performing. You will always have non-performers. You will always have people who are possibly not contributing. How do you have that conversation? Do we have those conversations where people wake up in the morning and they have those emails in their inboxes? Or do you have that conversation sitting across the table telling somebody, listen, you could have potentially done something to you, constructive criticism. So you have something to say. Yes. Thank you, sir. A round of applause for this. Thank you so much for saying this. And I had written it here, and I actually missed my thing. I think it is so much about having those self-coaching sessions, about self-awareness, and removing the mask that we have. I think, there's so much spoken about leadership. When you talk about leadership, you're like, this is, we forget who we are, we forget what we're here for, we forget what we're supposed to do. But that is all I'm here to say. I think it's just about being human, being nice, being respectful, and leaving an impression where people come back and say, yes, this person added value to my life more than anything else. But thank you so much for being a lovely audience. 5 o'clock in the evening, you've all been fantastic. Thank you so much. In case anybody wants to connect, feel free. It's very easy to find me. Just Google Shruti Swaroop. It's easy to do that. Thank you so much.